Welcome back to Mondello Park for coverage of the Leinster Trophy race, and there's Kevin Shane out in front. Barry Rabbit is in second place, and he's very sideways in the race to race car. Then it's young Sean Doyle, Robbie Allen up a place, Brian Harty back one in the Talk to Me car, and problems with that car as we saw earlier. On board again with Sean Doyle. He's so much quicker through here than Barry Rabbit, but Rabbit getting away through the twisty stuff. And of course Barry Rabbit, hugely experienced. He's been winning races for 10 years at Mondello Park, so he's not going to leave any gaps down the inside, Sean Doyle or not. Rabbit leading now down into the S's. Usually the S's were on the international track. Of course it keeps going to the left. A big drift from all these cars out all over the exit curb there. And David Park's holding a watching brief here, but he's done very well. Sean Doyle with a look down the inside, but Rabbit just slams the door shut. Is that going to slow Sean Doyle slightly? Not just yet. And Brian Harty again with that trademark run. He's so experienced through Lola Corner, and just says to Robbie Allen, I think I'll have that place back. Thank you very much. So Harty up another place in that Vodafone Talk to Me car. David Parks wondering where he's going to find a little bit of tarmac to try and get by some of these guys. But Rabbit driving superbly. He's still in second place, remember, as he goes in over the curb. Doyle on the attack, and Harty again closing in on this pair. So Harty be looking for championship points as well as the Leinster Trophy as well, and probably thinking these guys are holding him up a little bit. They really are having a go now. Rabbit having to begin to defend, and Sean Doyle goes to the inside. Rabbit defends into Dunlop corner. Sean Doyle so late on the brakes, right round the outside. It's wheel to wheel stuff, almost interlocking wheels, a little kiss of a side pod perhaps, and Barry Rabbit I think gave him just about the width of a Formula Shane and no more coming out of Dunlop corner, so nothing Sean Doyle could do. But this is a great battle between these two guys. Brian Harty next up. Sean Doyle leaves the door wide open, but he's so confident and late on the brakes, just chops across the bows of Brian Harty, and again is all over Barry Rabbit now as they go through Adelaide corner, turn 2 out towards the double apex, turn 3 now. We're on board again with Sean Doyle. He's right under the gearbox of Rabbit, close to contacting Barry Rabbit there, but didn't quite. This is a great single-seater scrap between these two guys. And remember, both of these guys haven't raced the cars before. Just jumped into them on Friday, did a little bit of testing, and then here they are racing for the Leinster Trophy. But Brian Harty now has got up to speed. The smoke seems to have stopped on that car, and he's beginning to pile the pressure on Sean Doyle. David Parks having dropped back slightly from this, and again Sean Doyle with a good run, gets alongside Rabbit on the run out to Lola corner, quickest corner on the track. Has a look around the outside, and that's brave stuff from Doyle. It's slippy on the outside. You tend to get what they call marbles out there. Not much grip. It didn't carry it off, but certainly no shortage of commitment. And the engine just cutting out on Doyle's car, and he's a sitting duck for Harty, and Sean Doyle would be furious with that. The car just stopping. We could hear it there just for a fraction of a second, and Brian Harty could have put on an indicator. On board now at Radio Star, Anton Savage. That's local man Damien Murphy, a real wet weather expert in the vertical racing car there, and he's down the inside, up over the curb, spectacular as ever. Didn't qualify, remember, because he was on his radio show this morning, but he started right at the back and fighting his way up through them. So now Rabbit under huge pressure from Harty now, with Doyle back a place, and then Robbie Allen. So here they come back towards Harty down the inside, having a go at Rabbit. Oh, hand in the air, problem for Brian Harty, and Robbie Allen had to take avoiding action there, and that is a shame. It looks like that oil seal or whatever it was has given way because we've lost Brian Harty. So now it's Kevin Shane, a big gap back to Barry Rabbit. And there's Shane, there's Harty, I should say, heading for the pits. Damien Murphy spinning off. There's Gary Corcoran in that beautifully prepared car, and he's under attack now from Anton Savage. And look at Robbie Allen slithering down the outside of Sean Doyle on the brakes there. Didn't make it on that occasion. Gets back in behind him before David Parks takes up that little bit of tarmac. Rabbit now getting the head down, perhaps getting the hang of this car and beginning to ease away. So Sean Doyle it is next, then Robbie Allen, and then David Parks. David Parks charged up behind these guys, but just sitting, holding a watching brief, as we said. Hasn't put on an attack just yet, but I'm sure he's waiting for something to happen. So Barry Rabbit in the deliberate and race-to-race car coming down towards Mazda corner. The long off-camber left-hander. Sean Doyle so wide and late and just turns in on top of Robbie Allen. Oh, Robbie Allen's got the run, though. They're side by side. Let's go on board with Sean Doyle. Watch this now, coming up to the fast right-hand corner. Is Robbie Allen going to drop back and try for the inside? No, tries to go around the outside. Lucky not to make contact there. Robbie Allen just turning in a little bit early. And what about that? David Parks just drives by them both. A hesitation again for Sean Doyle. That is such a shame, that car. It's obviously getting fuel starvation coming out of that right-hand corner, and just he's literally having to pull out of their way. But David Parks really did that perfectly, and Doyle beginning to overdrive just a little bit now as a result of that. And we just saw a flash of the Mondello Racing School coloured car of Timmy Swale, who's charging up through them. Remember, he won the Mondello Park Become a Racing Driver competition, and his prize is a full season of Formula Shane for free. Oh, hand in the air as well for Robbie Allen, and the championship contenders beginning to fall like flies. So Robbie Allen with a very rare mechanical failure. There's Timmy Swale going by, and that's Chris McCabe with him. We're on board now with Gary Corcoran. and he goes out over the curb, slows him a little bit, and that's Anton Savage just blasting by a quicker run through turn 2 and just gets by him on the way down to the double apex right-hander Bridgestone corner. Here comes Kevin Shane again up over the inside curve, drifting it like a qualifying lap, and down to start another lap. Rabbit still safe in second place. Oh, Sean Doyle with a great run, but again the car seems to slow slightly. Looked like he had made that manoeuvre stick. So David Parks it is now in third place. Parks goes defensive because he knows how late Sean Doyle is on the brakes. Sean Doyle sliding the car down on the brakes right under the back of Parks now through the quick stuff, but that must be so frustrating for the young driver with the car just beginning to hesitate. Kevin Shane now way out in front. Let's go on board with him. We're on the last lap of this race, just one lap of the international track for him still to go now. Big drift up out of Bridgestone corner. He really does enjoy going sideways, but still bangs the quick lap times in. Here he comes now down into Mazda corner. Keeps the car tight into the curb and then feeds on the power in a big opposite lock drift out onto the curb. There we go. Great onboard shots from Kevin Shane. He's number one because he's won the championship last year. This will put him right back into the hunt for this year's championship. And again, look at that through the quickest corner of the track. You can see his inputs into the steering wheel, just feeding it in, and then a little bit of opposite lock. Grabs a gear, 160 brake horsepower now. These cars very, very quick. All built by Shane Engineering in County Wicklow. And all very, very equal. But Kevin Shane just drives a little bit different to the rest. There he goes again, drifting the car around between corners 7A and B and sideways. I think he's perhaps beginning to celebrate just a little bit early. And the rest of the Shane gang will be trying to calm him down, which is a pointless exercise. He's sideways again through Bahrain's Bends. Really having fun now. Into the long, long left-hand corner and flicks it sideways on the way in. Kevin Shane must be smiling from ear to ear. He's got one hand on the Leinster Trophy. One corner to go now, up to Dunlop for the last time. Here he comes. Kevin Shane driving a Shane at Dunlop corner. And ironically enough, the first ever Formula V race in Ireland was won by a Shane, driven by a Shane member as well. So here he comes. Big, big hand in the air from him. Big celebrations from everybody on the pit wall. Pats the car. He's absolutely delighted. He has joined a list of legends. Rabbit takes second, and Parks it is in third place. Chris McCabe just holding off Tim Swale there for fifth. Great stuff from those guys. And then next up is Anton Savage. He's just cruising in. He's done all the overtaking, so just coasting across the line. So Shane takes the win, Rabbit second, David Parks in third, Sean Doyle in fourth. Great drive by Chris McCabe to fifth, and Timmy Swale battling right with him for sixth. Anton Savage climbs to seventh, and then it's Corcoran, Linnane, Joe Smith and Aidan Byrne.
Kevin, how's it going? That was pretty easy for you, wasn't it?
It was and it wasn't sort of thing. Like, I still had to make sure I didn't make any silly mistakes and do anything stupid, but it's unfortunate Tristan dropped out early on, but all the better for me.
You're being very sportsmanlike. I believe now the championship's even closer. Are your eyes on the points now?
They are indeed. I'd like to take two trophies home with this year with a bit of luck.
And tell me, how does it feel to have a trophy with your name on it, with the likes of Ayrton Senna and everyone else?
It's amazing, brilliant. It won't sink in until next year, I'd say.
I've never seen a prouder dad in my life. Has he given a lot of contribution to your winning now?
Oh, he has indeed. I'd say he'll be the one filling this now when we get inside, I'd say.
That's brilliant. Thank you very much. Well done. I've never seen a prouder dad in my life, I was just saying.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
Were you watching? Were you very nervous the whole 15 minutes?
Longest 15 minutes of my life now, I'd say.
I'd say so. And tell me, what's it like to see the Formula Shanes just expand into a brilliant grid?
It really is wonderful. It's great. It's a great compliment to David Shane and everything he's done for motorsport in Ireland over the years. And to see all the drivers getting out and preparing the cars really well, it's terrific. It really is. Especially in these times, to see grids growing. And but Formula Shane is quite special, in the sense that it's very affordable, and it's a great bunch of people that will race in it. They're all there to help.
So tell me, you had a great race up from the back of the grid, then up to the front. How did it go?
Brutal qualifying, started in 13th. I think I got a place off the start line. Coming into the first corner, I took it fairly handy because I had a bad crash last week in Kirkstown, so I was taking a handy, so I let a couple of lads by. Picked off one or two. A few people managed to put themselves off, and there seemed to be a lot of people just sort of retiring. I think I would have been certainly a few places higher now if it was a dry qualifying, so I possibly might have got, I don't know, maybe 4th, 5th finish, but I'm happy with 6th. Delighted.
Well, you did brilliant. Congratulations. I'll speak soon. Bye now. Robbie, I'm afraid that was a bit of an unfortunate outcome. Tell us what happened.
It was my drive shaft broke, but it was, enjoyed it up to that,
Absolutely. Was it different to drive for the Leinster Trophy? Did you have a different frame of mind?
Well, it did well. We had the championship as well. There were two things in our mind, like we were fired up for both.
I believe you dropped out mid-race. What happened to you?
A £5 or €5 camshaft oil seal blew out.
It's always the way, isn't it? So how does this affect the championship now?
Well, I was prepared to go all for nothing today anyway. I'm ahead on points, I'm well ahead on points, but it tightens it up a wee bit. I'm still in the lead, but not by as much.
Yeah, so it's eyes on the prize now for the rest of the championship, is it?
6th of October in Carcassonne, that's the one. So it's all down to the wire on it.
Anton, I believe you started at the back and just like flew through to the front. What happened?
It was the Grand Old Duke of York. It was up again, down again. I went up to the middle and then had a minor electrical niggle which dropped me back to the back again. And then I got somewhere middle-ish. It was somewhere between 5th and 9th. I don't know where exactly.
Yeah. Brilliant. Do you think it would be a different outcome if you had qualifying?
Oh yeah, I mean I think there's a certain advantage to doing things like testing and qualifying and doing
qualifying definitely helps. I believe.
They insist on putting this stuff on a Sunday directly when my radio program is on.
They should know better, shouldn't they?
I've asked them and I'm getting nowhere, but yeah, it means that you arrive down and do from the back of the grid, which is entertaining. There should be a good video of it.
Right, we're here with Sean Doyle. That was a bit of a superstar race, wasn't it? You didn't give Barry Rabbit any let off.
No, can't give them any room or they'll get away with it.
Absolutely. Tell us what happened to you mid-race.
Well, I was battling for second behind Rabbit and the car seemed to lose power. It was down around Parabolica and in a straight line. I just couldn't play with them. Just couldn't.
Oh, you just lost momentum and then that was it? Or did you keep on battling through?
I tried as hard as I could and I tried to hold off people, and luckily people started pulling in with mistakes or problems. So I was lucky that way because I got to move up places. So I finished 4th.
Paddock's gone quiet, the racing drivers in their cars are all gone home, and the Leinster Trophy is over for another year. But there's a new name on that trophy, young Kevin Shane. It's been a great weekend for Kevin and a great weekend for Formula Shane. Lauren, you're back to boring British touring cars next weekend. What did you think of your first time on the show?
It's not great, sure, it's not. No, it's great to see new talent challenging old talent, so another great weekend here at the Leinster Trophy.
That's all from us, bye bye.